Hey guys, it's me, Saran, back with another video. So today is December 4th, Jay-Z's birthday, which I feel like you can't even say December 4th without like, Sean Carter was born December 4th. It's Jay-Z's birthday. The Wiz Live came on last night. I watched it at home with my husband. Even though we don't have cable, we recently got a digital antenna, so we're able to pick up local channels, like broadcast channels, and also Bounce, which I encourage everyone to watch. Bounce is an African-American owned broadcast network that you don't even need cable to watch. You can just pick it up. I will have links in the description box on Bounce so everybody can check it out. It's awesome. They show like all the old black TV shows, all the movies, everything. Like my TV is like permanently put on that station now. But so we watched The Wiz last night. We loved it. As you guys know, we've done Bees Bake. We've done The Wiz, the film for Bees Bake before. It's not up in the Bees Bake playlist because, of course, the copyright gods snatched it down. But I love The Wiz. It's one of my favorite movies, and I also like the stage production as well. I like stage productions. I like musical theater. I did musical theater in middle school and also in high school. I was very into musical theater, so I was really excited to see The Wiz live, and we loved it. Today what I want to talk about is our critics. I want to talk about critics, and the reason why I want to talk about critics is for a couple different reasons. I was reading some reviews just because I like reading reviews. I'm one of those kind of people. But typically I like to read reviews by black reviewers. I like try to like go out of my way to find black critics because white critics never get it right. Hardly ever. My favorite movie critic was Roger Ebert, who was white. He passed away a few years ago, and it's really a shame because Roger Ebert was one of the few white critics on a certain level that got it, that even went to go see all different types of movies, and there's really been a void left since his death, and I take what white critics say typically with a grain of salt. I really go out of my way to find black critics. My favorite TV critic right now is Phoebe Robinson. I believe her last name is Robinson. I know her first name is Phoebe. She used to write for Glamour, and now she writes for somebody else that I can't think of right now, but I will include links to Phoebe's stuff. She did a really great review for Glamour of Orange is the New Black. She does Empire reviews. She does really fun, entertaining reviews from the perspective of a black woman, so I can really relate to a lot of her writing styles and the things that she says. And I feel like that's really important because as I was reading some of the reviews of The Wiz, I was just like, man, these like white critics really don't get it. And some people on Twitter were actually having a conversation about white critics because at the same time that The Wiz was on, this white lady, LV Anderson, was getting dragged. They scalped this bitch. They were dragging her by the skin of her teeth on Twitter because she wrote this really scathing critique of Southern University, which is an HBCU, of their marching band, which is it's a world-renowned marching band, and they did a cover of Adele's Hello, which you guys already know how I feel about Adele, but they did a cover of her song and additional songs for their Battle of the Bands, which is like a huge thing. They're classic. And this white woman, LV Anderson, obviously watched the performance like on YouTube or somewhere like that, didn't understand it, and proceeded to write this like, she trashed them. She wrote this piece on Slate trashing them because everyone has been really writing these like glowing like reviews, this like praise for this cover that Southern U did, basically saying like you have to hear this cover, like it's amazing. So her having to be the contrarian, I'm smarter than everybody else, I'm a know-it-all fucking white woman, she had to like go like write the complete opposite. Oh my god, this piece was so bad. I don't know why people are saying to listen to it. This is a joke. This is a practical joke. And the instruments and the horn section and the sexy dancers, they completely destroyed the presence of the song and the this and the that. And people are like, and she also said that they were performing at a halftime show, which they weren't even performing at a halftime show. They were performing at the Battle of the Bands, which is a huge event in HBCU culture and in band culture, and especially in black band culture. So it's like, you don't even understand the culture that you're talking about. You don't even know what you just watched if you watched it on YouTube, or, you know, what you just heard, because you don't, well, obviously watch because she made a comment about the dancers. So you don't even know what you just watched. Like, you don't have any grasp, not even a rudimentary grasp of the culture. You didn't even do the bare minimum of research before you even wrote this piece. You obviously saw other pieces praising this. You watched, you know, this black band. You watched this display of black excellence, and you didn't get it. So you take it upon yourself to rip it to shreds. People dragged her ass on Twitter. She ended up tweeting some half-assed apology, which was bullshit, talking about, it wasn't my intention to try to, like, downplay black band culture, HBCU culture. But people are like, yes, it was, because, like, the wording that you used, the way you referred to the dancers, the way you referred to the instrumentation, the arrangements, you were obviously you didn't understand what you were watching, so you trashed it. And that's all too common with white critics, which brings me to The Wiz. When The Wiz movie first came out in 1978, featuring Michael Jackson, who went on to become, you know, the biggest star ever, the highest selling artist ever, you know, everyone in the free world knows Michael Jackson, and Diana Ross, and Nipsey Russell, and music by Quincy Jones, you know, greats, legends, legendary music. The score of The Wiz is legendary, you know. When it first came out, it came out to terrible reviews because the reviewers were white critics who didn't understand it. At this moment, The Wiz, the movie, has a 30% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 30%. Because people didn't understand it. Because these white people and these white critics and these gatekeepers, because that's really what we're talking about, the gatekeeping of reviews, of critics, of critical acclaim, of what's good versus what is not good. You know, you have these white reviewers, these white critics, these white gatekeepers who don't understand black culture, and so they trash it. They don't understand it. It's not what they're used to. It's not what they're used to seeing, and so they trashed it. I was reading some review of The Wiz Live today that gave the production like a B- or a B+. And I didn't even finish the whole thing, and I'm not gonna link it because it was garbage. It was obviously written by a white reviewer who did not understand what they were watching while they were watching The Wiz Live, and they kept bringing up the music, and they kept referring to the director of The Wiz Live on NBC, and they kept referring to the way that the director changed the music, like the music, the pieces and the sequences. There was only one new song in the production, which was We Got This, which was written by Neo, and I think somebody else helped co-write it. And obviously that one had a little bit of a more contemporary feel because it was like We Got This, which is kind of like a little bit more modern slang. But none of that music was new. All of it was either from the stage production, or the film version, which both came out in the 70s. So you're referring to the 2015 director of The Wiz Live on NBC, and you're referring to them as rearranging the music or changing the music. Obviously, you have never seen the Wiz movie or the stage play because you're not familiar with the music. So obviously, I got the feeling that he was comparing it to The Wizard of Oz, which The Wiz is not The Wizard of Oz. Like, it's not The Wizard of Oz. It doesn't have the same like, it's the same characters, but it's its own reimagination, retelling of the same story, but it's not the same. Like, there's no Over the Rainbow. It's not the same. And you have these people, again, these cultural critics, these white critics that have no grasp of black culture, but they are paid to critique our culture, and they're paid to write these pieces on our culture, and they're paid to lambast us. And it's just really annoying to me because I have these people all the time, just like I said in the Reader Request video where they were talking, Reader Request does race matter in voice acting, where people love to come and sit in my comment section and hit me up on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, here, there, and say, you know, well, it doesn't matter, race doesn't matter, and culture doesn't matter, and we're all the same, and we're all the same. And it's like, we're not all the same. We're not all the same. We have different cultures, and that is, that's perfectly fine. Fucking everyone doesn't have to all be the same. Like, it's great to have different cultures and different things, you know, that make us all unique. Like, we all learn that shit as children, and people, like, conveniently forget and want to, like, become mindless robots all the same as grown-ups. You know, it's like our culture is not the same. And just like I said in that video, sometimes you need a black director, you need a black reviewer, you need a black critic, you need someone black that operates within that culture and understands it, because they're the only person that can give a fucking worthwhile critique. Because people that don't understand shit, these white people just trash it, and they don't understand, and they don't even go the extra mile to Google, Wikipedia shit, look it up. They just watch something, they consume it, they don't understand it, they don't like it, so they say it was shitty, the end, you know? And, you know, we need our own shit. We need our own gatekeepers. We need our own critics. We need our own reviewers. We need our own everything. And this is why I encourage people to, like, seek out Black films and Black directors and Black writers and Black reviewers and, you know, create all Black, you know, spaces, because these mainstream white spaces don't get it. They're not a part of our culture. They don't understand, you know? I love The Wiz. I loved it. Uzo Amaka just was everything, and she just slayed my life, and she just ripped my heart open, you know, with her finale. I literally cried. I shed tears. Shanice was wonderful as Dorothy, 19 years old and blowing grown-ups out of the water. You know, like, you can't tell me that Adele has a better voice than that little girl. She does not. I saw a rendition of Jasmine Sullivan at 11 years old, singing Home, had the school, at a school play, had the school up in arms, you know, screaming, waving their arms like they was in church. Like, I loved it. There were some lulls. I didn't really care for the Brand New Day scene. Like, the song was great. The rendition of the song was great. I didn't like the yellow costumes. I thought it was a little low energy. Also, I really didn't like the costumes at all, though, for that scene. They had these, like, yellow rags on. I wasn't feeling that. Especially because the Brand New Day scene in The Wiz is, like, an amazing scene. So I didn't really care for that. But for overall, like, I loved it. And to, like, see a white critic give it a fucking B- and say that they didn't appreciate that the music was changed. You shouldn't even be allowed to write this. You shouldn't even be allowed to fucking witness this greatness. Fucking go watch your dry ass Judy Garland Wizard of Oz and fucking call it a day. You know? That's like, I'm Black. That's like, if I was a critic, do I have the right to fucking say that I think The Wizard of Oz is dry as fuck? Like, people call that shit an American classic. That shit has like a fucking 137% fucking rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, do I have the right to say, like, well, I'm Black, I think that shit is dry as hell? No. Like, y'all stay away from our shit, we stay away from your shit. Like, that's just how I feel about it. So I just wanted to make this video about critics and how white critics, again, are the gatekeepers of these industries, how they don't understand our culture, how we have a different culture, and how, again, we really need to, like, continue seeking out our own spaces and our own creations, because that's the only way. So, yeah, December 4th, loved The Wiz, loved it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Did you watch The Wiz live on NBC? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, check the description box for links as always. See you guys next time. Peace.